In our faith tradition here at the Center for Spiritual Living, we have this idea that creation is perfect and everything is in its right place at the right time. And the only thing that ever needs to be healed is the story that we tell ourselves about that. In other words, what's in my thinking? Now, this is a controversial idea. And it's an idea that has been used to make people feel bad, right? When they become sick, for example, or when disaster strikes, they turn to that idea of what is in my thinking that caused this. So when we say creation is perfect and when we say our thought is creative, we've got to be careful not to blame people who fall on hard times, because that would contradict our understanding of oneness. You see, we're all in this together. In fact, this is the theme for April, the kinship of all life. We're in this together. So the teaching, your thought is creative, is supposed to make us feel hopeful, not guilty. It's supposed to encourage us to think, you know what, I can use my mind to bring something new into play. And if I fail, that's all right. I'm not a failure. I can try again tomorrow. If I don't succeed, I'm going to try again. You see, I don't know how things got to be the way they are. But I'm not going to let it stop me from trying to bring something even greater into being. I'm going to keep on going. See, I want to look at this a little more closely together. So this month when we're talking about the power of mind to heal, what we're talking about is how our experience of the world, of everything, has something to do with what is going on inside our minds. Think, for example, how our bodies respond to what we think. What better place to start exploring this than something really close and personal? My body. Because the way I treat and think about and talk to my body probably tells me something about how I treat and think about and talk to all of creation, all life, all people, and the planet too. So let's think this through. I'm going to invite you to imagine with me. What do you think would be the most obvious way for people of this teaching to think about and talk to their body? So use your imagination and imagine a person who has studied the science of mind, our teaching, and they're standing there naked. Imagine it. In front of a mirror, and above them is one of those cartoon balloons. Above them with their thought. What would the caption be? What should the caption be? What should we be saying about our bodies, to our bodies, and to other people's bodies? Possibly you're agreeing with me that the obvious thing for people who are of this persuasion to say to their bodies would be things that are filled up with gratitude and affirmation and appreciation and joy. That's the obvious thing. If you are a science of mind believing, practicing student of this teaching, right? Right. Why? Well, we already know how infants respond to that rather well. We already know how pets respond to that rather well. And plants, and I think possibly even computers. They respond well to affirmative, loving, kind words of appreciation and gratitude. We're the same. Our bodies are the same. The planet is the same. All life is the same. And if we're not standing in front of that mirror, looking, filled up with great, appreciative, welcoming, affirmative words, maybe we've got work to do if we want to practice what we preach. Right now, I'm teaching the Beyond Limits class, and you may know that that's the introductory class for our teaching. And one of the lessons in the 10-week course is about self-talk. You know, all of the things we say to ourselves when we think that we are in the privacy of our own minds. And for some people, it's a surprise when for the first time they start to consider what they say to themselves when, for example, they look at themselves in a mirror first thing in the morning, naked. Because some people are discovering they say kind of nice things, considerate things, whereas other people are discovering that they are downright mean. They're saying horrible things to the mirror image. And the question arises then, what is all of this negative self-talk doing to me? Now, that's another controversial teaching that can be used badly. I'm not going to say that negative thinking leads to disease. I don't know that. I have no experience of that. I know too many negative people who are healthy as horses. And I know too many kind, positive, loving people who get sick. Don't you? I don't know about that. But I do know what love does. Oh, it inspires and it opens. I do know what common decency does. It encourages and it includes. I do know what compassion does. Oh, it makes us feel good. I've just got to be sure that I use that approach on me too. I also know that words of rejection and criticism and cruelty cause stress. And the whole world knows that stress plays a significant role in illness. It's just for some of us, perhaps we didn't realize that the unkind words that we're saying to ourselves silently in the so-called privacy of our minds is causing us stress. We didn't think about that. You know, another thing we discover when we first start to study our minds is that not everything in the so-called privacy of our minds is actually ours anyway. It was just there. And sometimes we pick it up and adopt it from society. For example, when it comes to the body, we pick up a lot of ideas about what the human body should be. It should look like this. It should always be younger than what it is. It should be thinner. Thinner is better. This is better. That is better. Anything other than what you've got is better. No wonder that some people have negative self-talk. And there's that question arising again. What is all that negative thinking and self-talk doing to me? Now, that's another controversial idea that can be used superficially to go the wrong way. I mean, keep in mind that it is not dangerous to think negative thoughts. If it were true, we'd all be dead. No. We can't become terrified of our own minds. However, it seems to be the case that if you and I think negatively, persistently, and habitually, and regularly, and believe it, then it can become a way of life that is hard to step away from. We can get stuck in that. And I don't know what that causes, other than it's not nice to be around. I was weeding on Thursday. There on my knees in the garden pulling out the weeds because the soil was still damp from the recent rain, so it was a good time to do that. Who knows where the weeds came from? I didn't plant them. They were just there. Now, this new growth announcing itself. Ta-da! I was, I've got to get that out. It was easy to get it out, But as I was doing it, I was thinking to myself, it's a good thing I didn't wait. Because if I wait through a couple of dry days and the sun is starting to warm up, then very soon that soil where I live, it turns to clay. And it grabs itself around the weeds, and very soon they're permanent. You know where I'm going. Because some folk have let that happen in their self-image, The soil has gotten hard around weedy ideas about their bodies. I have heard people say about their bodies, I tolerate it. I work with what I've got. I put up with it. I disguise my body. I do my best to decorate my body so that it is appealing. My body disgusts me. My body disappoints me. My body scares me. Now imagine saying that to a child or to our world. Actually, when I was a child, I loved my body. Didn't you? I loved exploring it. Not you? Every nook and cranny was an adventure. I loved it. Come on. I had no idea that my teeth were smaller than the average human and that mattered. I had no idea that I had one more tooth than the average human and that mattered. I had no idea that the funny kink in my hair when it grows out a certain length was kind of an issue. I had no idea that one side of my skull was slightly larger than maybe it was the extra tooth. I don't know. It was only later that I discovered I'm a freak. I had to learn it at school. I had to go to school to learn. I didn't know. See, the truth is, you are a freak. That's true, because nothing in nature fits in. Exception is the rule. It's what makes us beautiful and rare and amazing, with nothing to heal other than the idea that you're broken. So what do you do if you find yourself in that category of people that I sometimes call the mirror-cursing people? Maybe you've let some of that thinking get into you. Maybe you believe some of the ideas of society. Well, here's what you do. It's this simple. It really is. This is how you use the healing power of mind. You find something about your body that you like. Just one thing. And concentrate on it. And pour all of your gratitude on it. Put all of your focus on it until your like becomes love. Keep looking at what you like until affection grows. It really is that simple. I've got handsome hands. And you keep reminding yourself about it, and you put feeling into it and bring the joy of being alive into it. Some of you know I've got a cat, Andrew. Well, there was a previous cat. Do you remember his name? Fred. Oh, one of the angriest, nastiest, grumpiest animals I've ever loved. Fred hated Andrew when Andrew arrived. Oh, but Andrew was like an affirmation, Bam, show up, everything's amazing, and he kept on greeting Fred with joy. And despite all of Fred's best efforts to remain hateful, one day I found him playing with Andrew and purring. You see, Andrew wore him down. Just wore him down until finally old, grumpy, negative Fred caught up with the program. Caught up with the reality that life is joy. This life is joy. That's what it's like. You've got to find something in your body or in this world. Find something that you like and pour all of your gratitude into it until your like becomes love. Put all your focus on it. until your affection rises up. It goes, oh, got to try that. You want to get to a place where it's normal for you to stand in front of the mirror naked and say to your body, I appreciate you. I welcome you. Thanks for sticking around. You amaze me. Look at how you digest food and stuff. Hot damn. Too far? So you want to get to a place where it's normal for you, because normal means, that's what consciousness means. Consciousness is the normal kind of conversation you're having with yourself, about yourself, or about anything. Another way of saying it is your theme. That's your consciousness. Have you thought about that question? What's my theme? When it comes to talking about my body, what's my theme? And if you're happy with what comes up, that's great. There's probably still room for improvement. And if you're not happy with what comes up, that's okay, because the work can now begin. And what you do for yourself, I think it may be true, you do for the whole of creation. That's what this book of the month is all about, the connection between us and our relationship to our body and the whole of creation, the unknown world. I brought you one quote from it that is so beautiful. It says, and isn't our body our own private personal earth? It is so, isn't it? If the body can come alive, transform its state, serve my deeper aims, heal itself when flooded with conscious attention, if the body can act, love with entirely new force and joy when it is filled with conscious attention, then we may say that the earth itself will be a new earth when human beings see her, hear her, taste her with the conscious attention that only human beings can bring to her. Isn't that something? Well, how do you change your consciousness? Here's another way. By entertaining a new idea. I love that phrase, entertain an idea. Because entertain means to make welcome. Entertain means to show hospitality toward. My mother was really good at that, showing hospitality. She taught us children. She would say, if there is a meal and there's a guest, the guest always gets the first choice. We didn't like that. The children, we wanted to go first. But she taught us, no, that's how you make a guest welcome. And you always give them the first choice of where to sit. In my chair? Yes. The best place. You always let them go first. That's how you make them welcome. I've not forgotten that, because I see now that's our job with new ideas. We are to entertain them, to make them feel welcome by inviting them frequently, to give them the best seat in the household of our consciousness, to let them go first and prominently and frequently. My body is a miracle. My heart knows how to beat. My feelings know how to feel. My eyes see. And to keep with it so that my mind becomes a friendlier place for my body to live in. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not in denial about the physical world. You know how that can be a corruption of our teaching too. Pretend nothing's going on? No. Stuff happens. People in our faith tradition have about as many challenges as any other people on the planet. In that regard, we fit in. I can't see without my glasses. And it's getting worse. I'm not enjoying the pollen right now, as you can hear. I can barely breathe. I haven't seen it, but I'm told that I've got 2 discs dissolving in my spine. A couple of years ago, one of my kidneys started evacuating blood into my system. Terrifying. I had a cancerous cell cut out of my arm. It was so deep, it had to be cut out twice. And I have arthritis in my hands and my feet. What's on your list? And I'm not going to let my list stop me for realizing that even at the same time that the list exists, we are unique and amazing and wonderful. I'm not going to let my list stop me from living and dreaming and hoping and creating. I'm going to continue to use my mind to improve and usher in a greater yet to be. I'm going to thrive and love and be kind and be happy no matter what's on my list. That list is not going to stop me. That list is going to have to keep up with me. That list is not going to get me down, except for the times when it does. Doesn't it? Yeah. That's when we need each other. That's what kinship with life means. We're in it together. I'm going to say it again. I'm not talking about developing a sense of denial. If you've got a medical problem, attend to it. And all the while you're dealing with it, at the same time develop a mental attitude that is hospitable and friendly to yourself. And we know that's not always easy to do, especially when things go wrong. They go wrong. Outside in the social hall, you'll see a table for the AIDS Life Cycle. Our nonprofit partner, we're still raising funds. One of our riders still needs to meet his minimum fundraising requirement, and Christina Rivera and I are standing there. And we got to talking, Christina and I, about this 545-mile ride from San Francisco to Los Angeles and the extraordinary difficulty of getting our behinds accustomed to sitting on a saddle for 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we got to talk about that saddle rash. And that sting, when it's stinging, it is not easy to be pleasant. It is not easy to be hopeful. Oh, it's tough to practice affirmative thinking and appreciation when something goes wrong. Oh, it's hard to follow a line of gratitude when you've got a raging temperature or an infection. I know how scary it can be to have something happen with my body and not understand it. And I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to step in there and take charge of my mind. And I can't always do it. Sometimes I need help. We need help from each other. Maybe I won't say need. We can help each other. And in case you don't know where help is, I want to tell you so that you understand you do not have to do it alone. If you navigate to our website, you will find at www.cslsr.org a whole host of free spiritual support resources, including our telephone ministry of prayer. Now, all of this information is available on our website, but when I've completed the whole list, get your smartphone out and take a photograph of all the resources so you have it available with you all the time. You can call our telephone ministry of prayer. It's staffed by people like you and me. Because when you can't remember the truth about your being, somebody else can for you. You call, maybe if they don't answer the phone, they're busy dealing with somebody else. They'll call you back, or you can leave your prayer request. Or you can, if you are going through the dark night of the soul and you're in hospital and you're feeling ill, you can call us. We will send somebody to visit you, to read to you and to pray with you. Or if you're struggling with grief or loss, every single Sunday directly after the third service, there is a support team of people who will sit with you and listen to what you're going through without trying to convince you to be happy and peppy. Isn't that wonderful? A place where your grief is honored. Or you can go online to www.cslsr.org because maybe you don't feel like speaking to anybody. And you can put an online prayer request. And that prayer request gets disseminated among our spiritual prayer practitioners to pray with you and for you. Or you can call Dial a Thought, a recording that is changed twice a week. Because you know how it is, how sadness or fear will wake you up at an inconvenient time in the night. You can call and listen to a human voice telling you the ideas that your heart already resonates with. Or you can go online, and there you will find, it's a hot link on our website, a link to an affirmative online library of prayers that is searchable by topic, that you can print out and carry around with you and read every time you need a vitamin. An additional one is a much underused resource, and that is our after-service confidential prayer. Prayer practitioners go to the Grinton Chapel, where they sit and wait for people to come and share with them what they're struggling with. So they take it in, and then they sit and pray with you. I have no idea why there isn't a line out around the block. I don't know how I would manage without prayer. And if you want to do something even more extensive, you'll see there's also paid spiritual support resources with a whole directory for that. Since our topic is kinship with all life, I wanted to start with that so that we plant deeply the awareness that we are not in this alone. And that when we love each other and support each other, we truly can thrive. So I invite you to breathe in with me now. And exhale, letting your eyes close as we turn within to prayer to recognize the one life that is everywhere present. Sometimes we call it mind, one mind, to remind us that it is both physical and non-physical. Some people call it God, or the Oversoul, the Great Spirit. Whatever it is that it is named, we are turning to it as the all in all. The great unifying force, the great intelligence that births this universe and all universes, so that we may remember together that we live in it. We are of it. And these words of prayer then are working in us to realize that just as we are amazing, unique, wonderful, alive. And so we let no thought distract us from this condition of being alive. This awareness of our aliveness allows us to thrive in the presence of everything, because of everything. And the excitement and energy of our thriving is like a healing balm for those around us. Our joy is contagious. And so we take a moment in this prayer to give thanks, to celebrate the condition of being, to be amazed by the fact that we are here, to delight in it. And we release this word into the law of mind, which is our way of saying there is no way of coercing or forcing this. Our work in prayer is already done, so we're not trying to manage the outcome. We are now shifting into an attitude of acceptance and expectation. And to wrap that all up, we say, and so it is.